Hi, my name's Elitia Hart. I'm a metal art instructor and a mixed media explorer. For today's video, we're looking at the dry point cutter. And the dry point cutter is a tool that I believe has originally been designed to engrave on metal. For our purposes as metal embossers, we use it to cut along curves of your embossed metal. It's also great for cutting on the inside of designs, and if you want to do some filigree work in pewter work or in metal work for that matter. Also, I find it a little bit easier as a cutting tool as opposed to the X-Acto knife. You hold it like a pencil, it works like a pencil, and I'm a little bit more comfortable using it as a cutting tool as opposed to the X-Acto knife, which has an open blade. So for today, I'll show you my technique. Hopefully you'll be able to learn a little bit of something from that and make some beautiful filigree cutout work. So before you start cutting out with your needle cutter, the project has to be completed to a point where you've done all your embossing, you've done your filler at the back. Obviously, in this case, I did beeswax, melted beeswax with a glass dropper. And then your patina on the front needs to have been done as well. The surface that we use the cutter on is a glass, just a sheet of glass. You want to make sure that your glass is nice and clean and doesn't have any glue or anything like that on it. And then the technique is just to use nice medium pressure, or actually quite firm pressure, and then cut through the edges. So I'll do a quick demo on the technique as people are usually doing it, and then we'll transfer to what my technique is, which might be a little bit of a harder, you might need to press a little bit harder to get the job done, but in the end the result is pretty good. So for cutting with the needle cutter on the glass, what you want to do is, I find it easier to cut towards me. So I start at the top and then pull towards me. I usually make more than one cut, and you can immediately feel the cutter go right through the metal. You know when you've hit the glass surface. And cut again, and then cut down. And you also don't want to become a contortionist. You really want to just move the metal around so that you can cut towards you. So one cut, again another cut, and I like cutting towards me, so I get my start off point, and then I cut towards me, I turn my metal around, and again I cut towards me, and boom, you get a nice clean cut off the metal here. And what I also like to do is to take my tool and then just to run it along the edges once I've made that cut, and that gives you a nice smooth edge for when you're ready to glue it down. So gluing things down, I'm slightly allergic to glue. I just find that I end up with glue more in my hair and on the project where it shouldn't be. So my technique involves actually taping the back of the pewter first before I do my cutout. So I'll do a quick demo for you on the taping, and I use the Suk Wang double-sided adhesive tape. It comes in rolls. When you use as much as I do, it's a little bit more economical to purchase it in the rolls, but it also comes in some sheets as well. So I'll just show you my cutting technique or my taping technique. So this is a project that I've done already. You can see I filled my back with my filler. Just get your tape on, turn it around. And while we're on the glass, I can just as well use this as my cutting surface so that we stay on track. So using the adhesive tape helps that you don't have to use glue. I just find it a messy business, and usually when I do it, my glue just ends up everywhere but where it should. So once your project is taped like this, like that, and I'll just move to the the one that's taped already. So this is my embossed project. It has the patina already on it and it's ready to cut. I have it taped on the back, and now we're going to cut again with our needle tool. So again, cutting towards me. When you look at design for doing filigree or cutout work, a great source for design, of course, is stencils, because they've already been prepared so that you don't have any loose bits flying around. The other way, if you are designing your own image for cutout or filigree, is you need to make sure that everything has a little attachment to something else. So for example, this rose has an attachment to the leaves, and I'll be cutting these pieces out. Otherwise, at some point, that rose is not going to have anything to attach to, and it's just going to be lying loose there. So let's start with cutting again. And again, just to remind you, I cut towards me. And I can feel that there's a little bit more resistance because I do need to cut through the adhesive tape at the bottom as well. Starting point and then pull towards you. Starting point, pull towards you. And you can make more than one cut. You'll feel right away when it has gone through both layers. And then it should just pop off like that. And boom, you've got it cut off like that. All right, and then I'll do another one, and then we'll move to the one that's already cut out. Again, don't be a contortionist, just move the metal around, and so that you can make a nice straight cut. And you can see it still cuts really nicely through the metal, even though I have the tape attached to it as well. So you need to work slightly harder than just when you cut just through the metal, but you do get these beautiful clean cuts and ready to pop out. Okay, so we'll move on to the one that I've cut out already. And the next thing that you can do is, once you've done all your cutouts and things like that, there's wonderful things that you can put on as surfaces underneath. So you can put it on cards and have the colors come through like that. Or what I like to do is, see the beautiful colors coming through there. What I do want to try, what I like to do is actually using copper underneath and then pushing it into the areas that you've cut out and then creating a filigree look like that. So now we're ready to put it onto our copper, and we're going to pull away our backing tape for the adhesive. Okay, put it on the copper. Get it down. You can use your brayer to just smooth it down. And what I usually do at this stage is I take my pencil and I line inside the areas that have been cut out. Oh, here's another piece that's still there. Just so that, when I turn it around, I can actually see where my filigree area is and where I want to press with my paper stump to get that raised on the front again. So there we go. Hopefully I got it all. I'll just have a quick peek. And let's see on the back. Yeah, I think I got it. Actually, I missed a little piece there, but that's okay. We'll leave it at that. And so turn around and use your paper stump and just rub in the areas that you've lined, and that'll show you where you're raising your copper. And again, you can use copper, you can use your gold pewter, your gold aluminum or aluminium, whatever you want to call it. And just turn it around again. And make sure to rub in all those areas. Once you're at a stage where you feel that you're not really making much headway with your paper stampers, you can get in there with your Teflon tip tool, and that'll give you a nice edge in there. So once you've done all the rubbing on the inside of your areas that you've cut out, and again, please note that I'm working on the hard surface, so in this case I'm just keeping the glass mat underneath me and underneath the pewter so that you can get that nice filigree look. So once you've raised all these areas, you need to fill it in with wax again or whatever your filler is, and which I've done here. And then you also want to get another piece of tape on your piece, because this will now go onto the block. So you've got a few layers of adhesive and copper and pewter going on here. Pull it away again, and I'll put my little hard block down, and then I cut away at the edges. So I don't do any fancy cutting, just with my X-Acto knife, just get a nice straight edge in there. I always find if I try and do fancy cuts, it always comes back to bite me, and when I fold it over, it doesn't give me a nice straight edge. Here, I'll just cut the adhesive away because I already did my corner, and keep your surface nice and clean, and then I fold it back on itself. So just nice tight corner. Same on this side, fold it over, and again fold it over. And use your brayer. You can also use your paper stump. Just flatten your edges nicely around here, and then it's supposed to look like that when you're done. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a few ideas in regards to the needle cutter and what you can do for a surface underneath, and it's nice to have the copper as an inlay from the back. Here are a few examples of cutouts that I've done with cutting the pewter out and then putting decorative paper underneath. So I did the cutouts and then put the decorative paper underneath, and then I used some glossy accents or diamond glaze and then filled these grooves in as well, just to give it a nice finish. This is an interesting one. I used again the same technique, cutting out the pewter and then putting some text tissue paper on the back and letting that come through. So for all you paper artists out there, there's definitely a little something to do here. A big piece of cutout here with the decorative paper underneath, and again filled with the glossy accents to give it a nice sealed look to that. Okay, so please send me your questions. If you had any questions about these cutters, the best thing to do is just to practice and to play a little bit and see what works best for you. And I'll hope to make a few more videos, and let me know what you'd like to see, and then we can work on that. So thanks again for tuning in and taking the time to learn something new, and hopefully we'll see each other again soon. Thank you.